Okay, here's another League of Legends post-game commentary coming your way, this time with Mordekaiser top. And truth be told, I've been dreading this moment where this could quite potentially be the last Mordekaiser game for the channel because of his rework turning him into an AD carry instead of just this AP nightmare. So anyway, let's go over our matchups. First I have to sort them. I am Mordekaiser top against Darius. We have Morgana, partner with Severe, bot against Thresh and Caitlyn. We have Rengar in the jungle against Vi, and Zed mid against Lux. So, same complaint that I had in the Riven video as Malphite applies here. It's always one of the same four. This time it's Darius. As for this game, unfortunately I have the wrong rune page. I still get some AP out of it, but I just don't have as much poke as I'm supposed to. It's not really a big deal, since Mordekaiser's all about wave clear and everything. But as for how Mord works, right here I'm doing the mouse over for his moves, which are going to be changing in a matter of days. Your passive is Iron Man. A third of the damage you deal with abilities is saved as a shield. The shield itself scales with your level, and it will block incoming damage. It's kind of like Yasuo's Wind Wall, except it's not retained. It rapidly decays just for whenever it's not being charged. Your Q is Mace of Spades. As of right now, it's an auto attack modifier reset. It has two uses. The first of which is that you can just hit an enemy inside of a group and then the damage will diffuse outwards to like 3 or 4 enemies. I forgot what number exactly. And that's the AoE usage for it. But if the enemy is alone, then the move will deal increased damage. I don't think it's quite double damage, but something like 1.5 times. So it's a pretty dangerous move. I will be maxing it last though, because I definitely like the W more. As for the W, that is Creeping Death. It's a damage over time ability. You can cast it on another unit. It has to be allied, of course. It can be minion, champion, whatever. And it will cause this cloud of metal to surround them and deal damage to things nearby them. So the move it's not really meant to kill. It's more of a utility move. And the reason for that is that it does give you defensive stats, armor, and MR, which is why I like to max it. It can make Mordekaiser deceptively tanky. The second use is the magnetism angle, where the two clouds are drawn to one another, and there's a movement speed boost given to the two characters as they move towards one another. So I will be using this quite a bit in the game to keep up with Rengar when he ganks, because we're going to be buddying up once the lane phase ends. Your E is... it's not Siphoning Strike, damn it. I can't remember what the move is called now. But it's a cone type move, it's short range. It's your wave clear, regardless of whether you're playing Mordekaiser AP or AD. The thing is, while he's AP, it has a really nice ratio, and it's just an all-around awesome move. I'm maxing that first for wave clear for poke. It's just Mordekaiser's bread and butter. Finally, your ult is Children of the Grave. This is a percent HP damage move. It does a large percentage up front as burst, and then there's a lingering burn afterwards. What the burn does is, it actually gives you the health that you're siphoning away from the enemy. So, like I said, Mordekaiser can be deceptively tanky, and by using the ult, you can sort of become one of the drain tanks Riot so despises. And I believe you can double dip off the move when you use Will of the Ancients to get the healing from the move itself as well as the Will of the Ancients. So Mordekaiser can be a real pain to take down late. And you'll see what I mean as time goes by. So as for the lane, Darius has the advantage right now, simply because, well, for one, he has more sustain than me. He went for the bottle start. And since I have a little bit less AP than I'm supposed to, I can't really poke as well. I also don't have my one spell vamp quit, which is the real thing that actually hurts. Right here I'm using the Creeping Death to try to increase the defenses of that minion so Darius has trouble last hitting it, as well as just punishing Darius for standing close to it. And since this is one of those games where I'm not providing live commentary, I am going to be sarcastic periodically. So Morg's question, why is she only getting 5 gold a tick instead of the 10 from her Frost Queen? My answer was inflation. I don't really think she approves of the sarcasm, but well, that's what happens when I don't provide live comm. So Rengar just did die to the golems. Not really a big deal though. It's not like the enemy got any gold or anything, and technically he does save a little bit of time on the recall and having to wait to heal, so we'll call it a strategic suicide. How does that sound? I have a feeling you're not really buying that. Anyway, Darius went for boots and a ruby crystal, it looks like. The icons are a little small on my screen, and unfortunately with the 40-minute game I don't really remember too much about the early game, sadly. So, I'm trying to think. I believe he's trying to rush a Black Cleaver, which is a pretty awesome item. CDR, health, damage, armor shred, just awesome. Plus it even gives you movement speed. Now, the bad news for him is that he's not actually getting any source of MR just yet. He eventually will get a Spirit Visage once he's tired of being my punching bag, but until then, he's just gonna have to sit there and take it. So, one of the problems Mordekaiser usually has is with damage over time characters. Darius kind of does qualify, even though he skirts the difference between being damage over time. He missed the Bulla. I burned my flash and everything because I figure, okay, Rengar and I can just jump in, he lands the Bulla, we execute him. Yeah. No. But Rengar will have opportunities to redeem himself later. As for right now, I'm going back just to get the other Amp Tome, that way I have a little bit more poke. I don't have my teleport up, but it doesn't really matter because Darius can't really afford to stick around. You can see right now he's forced to farm into the tower because if he goes too far out, Rengar is just going to jump and maul him. But I think what was I talking about before the action on screen? Crap, I don't remember. So, one of the things I have to watch out for in this lane is that the jungler is Vi. So basically, once she hits level 6, they can kind of just point click and kill me. So one of the things I have to do is play a little bit defensively. That's why you'll see me staying off to the side. That way if I see her coming, I'll have a little bit more time to try to escape. Fortunately, without boots just yet and no flash, it's not like I'll actually get far. But as for this, I'm more than willing to tank the turret shot in exchange for the minion since I had my Iron Man up. The one turret shot isn't quite enough to pierce it, but once the second one lands, then it kind of can, since the turrets do increasing damage as they fire. As for what I'm building, I'm rushing the Hextech Revolver because all of my moves cost health to use instead of mana or any other resource. From there, I want to get a Zonia's Hourglass so that I can try to dodge his ult and just kill some time when he's piling on his hemorrhage stacks. Otherwise, my goal here is just try to get as many last hits as I possibly can whenever the opportunity presents itself and poke him down as best as I can while doing that. So right here, he went ahead and used his ult. I don't know why he thought that would kill me from that point since, like, he doesn't have anything for AD, really. I don't know what he was thinking, to be honest. But anyway, I have his ghost to help me push the wave, and I don't want to stick around because I have next to no health. Vi could be lurking in the area, and I don't have my Hextech Revolver yet to turn me into a bit of a duelist. But as you can see, Vi was closing in. I don't know if you saw her in the tri-brush, but you can see her on the mini-map there. She definitely smelled the blood. It's just, I got out of there just in time. But as for this back, I went ahead and picked up another Amplifying Tome because that's a component for Will of the Ancients. I went ahead and grabbed the boots because I don't have mobility, and Vi has made her intentions clear. The good news is, while she was so busy looking for me, she kind of walked into Rengar. And right there I'm taunting her a bit to try to get inside of her head. Since this is quite potentially the final Mord game, I have to definitely be as painful as I can be. But for those that aren't aware of the rework, Riot says that they want to make sure that solo lane Mordekaiser doesn't suffer as a result of this rework, but like, his W is completely worthless in a solo lane because you need a partner to use it, and if you're solo, who gives a damn if you get full minion EXP, because you're getting full minion EXP anyway. And sadly, the way his ratios are changing, he's going to be kind of stuck in the same boat Akali is, where the itemization is going to be really confusing. Even for AD carry, I'm not really quite sure what he's supposed to build, because as a melee, even if he does get a level advantage, he can still get kited really, really hard. And I imagine Ashe is probably going to be his absolute hardest matchup because of the slow on her arrows to just make it difficult for him to move around. He's fairly immobile, and they wanted to preserve that for some reason by moving him to the bot lane. I don't know how this makes sense, but somehow it does. And to further complicate things, she does have the stun on her ult. Can definitely be a rough match for Mord. I imagine Varus is probably going to be the other really rough one, because that's the other AD carry, well, the only AD carry left that still has grievous wounds in his kit. So the way it works is he'll just use his hail of arrows to inflict grievous wounds on Mordekaiser, and even if Mord is using his ult, the health return is going to be so negligible that he's just going to be in a rough spot. And to make things even worse for the Varus matchup, out of all the AD carries, Varus has the highest base range in the early game. So Cog, Triss, Jinx, Twitch, they will all pass him with their various moves. But Varus has the 575, which is third to Ashe's 600 and Kate's 650. But I'm predicting those to be his two hardest matchups. We'll have to see when the time comes. But you can see that Vi is going to be the menace for this game. She's the one that I'm actually going to be ulting for the most part later on. To make things worse, she doesn't actually build MR until right when the game ends, so not the brightest move on her part. Plus, I'm not totally sold on her build, to be honest. You'll see what I mean when the time comes. So right here, they were pinging that, hey, we don't see Lux, we don't see Vi. It's pretty likely they're coming towards you, and it's a serious threat, so I have to be on guard. The good news is I have Flash up at the moment, and you can see I can definitely take some pieces out of Darius. As for right here, I wanted to... like, right here, I don't see Darius's ghoul anywhere, even though I ulted him. Like, I don't know what happened legitimately. I don't know if that was a glitch or what. The good news is, Rengar is here to secure the kill, and since I did some damage with my creeping death, I might have also hit her with my E, so I get the assist. And yeah, even after reviewing the video, I still don't know why Darius didn't have a ghoul in those final moments, because the ghoul's damage will actually give me Iron Man bar, gauge, whatever you want to think of it as, but it'll fill my passive. And by extension, that will allow me to stay in the fight a little bit longer. But right there you can see Darius teleported back into lane. He has a pickaxe because he's rushing a Tiamat. Yeah, Tiamat longsword. I don't quite get the point of the Kindle gem, to be honest. I mean, sure, it gives him health, some CDR, but this matchup, he really needs flat MR. Something like a Hex Drinker would serve him wonders. Anyway, I have the Will of the Ancients now, so my next item is going to be the Zhonya's Hourglass. That will definitely come in handy against Vi, and you'll see the late game teamfights how I can kind of sustain while in stasis. And I'm pretty sure I can still control my offhand, but right here I wanted to try to teleport in to save them, but They burned exhaust on Zed and they opted to just get out instead of continuing the fight. So I'm out the teleport, and we really didn't even get anything in exchange for that. So right here I was kind of hoping they'd hook Zed so we'd have our fight. I have the ult up and everything, but no dice. So instead I'm forced to go back top, just wave clear. Not exactly a bad thing since it gives you gold, and gold eventually becomes items. And I can't really read the text right there, so I don't know what they're saying. The thing is, you'll notice Darius isn't around, and with how I've been pushing the lane so much, his tower is pretty much on its last legs. And, like, he'd have to show up right now in order to save it. By not showing up, I can just go ahead and get that. I get the local gold, the global gold goes to the team, and I can go ahead and clear these before going back to pick up my tier 2 boots. Actually, I think I might go needlessly large rod here. Yeah, I'm not sure which way I went. Okay, I went for the needless for power. So the Lux isn't going to have an amazing KDA, but in the endgame stats, she was a very narrow second to Kate in terms of total damage. So she's still contributing very much, it's just she's not having a good laning phase or really a teamfight phase afterwards. As for right there, Severe got greedy, she flashed into that to try to steal Zed's kill, and it cost her her life. So, in that little skirmish, Darius lost about a third of his health. I didn't even lose my Iron Man. Definitely not a good game to be him. And more reason why I'm gonna miss this guy so much when he goes AD. He doesn't have the mobility, he doesn't have the CC, but he's just so friggin' annoying. Well, pretty much there had to be a reason why he'd be numero uno. That's the key thing here. As for right here, I'm looping around to try to get to the dragon because we should take it. We have the positioning. You can see Rengar stole the red buff, and poor Thresh. Rengar has no qualms about engaging here because he has me there to support him. And I went ahead and used my ult on Thresh just so we have someone to tank the dragon for us. I think Rengar and I still end up tanking it, but my goal was just to have Thresh do it. And it's not really a problem for me to do because I have the WOTA to heal me, and then I just have Iron Man. I mean, the dragon does percent HP damage, it's magic damage at that. So while I don't have the MR to just mitigate some of the damage, my HP pool is actually small enough now to where I can actually just kind of heal as fast as it can hurt me. But right here, I keeps doing this all damn game, aren't I? Morg was trying to bait them, and I can give you guys an interesting statistic while we wait. So while the top tower went down, you'll notice I got a very early trinket upgrade. And over the course of the game, I dropped something like 25 or 26 wards. Zed dropped one more than me, and the thing that's so neat about all this is that the two of us each dropped 3 times as many wards as the Morgana did. She seriously only drops 9 wards this entire game. So one reason why I can't exactly be upset about it is because the entire team is contributing towards the vision thing. Zed and I are always off on the side lanes, so like we're bearing some of the burden for her. And as a result, she's behaving somewhat differently. So right here I flashed an ulted Lux to try to save Zed. Didn't work. We get Thresh on the side though, and sadly the Lux school is kind of worthless. I hate to say it, but she only has like a chalice. She's really behind. And one of the effects that you get from Mordekaiser's Ghoul is if you kill an AP character, you get something like 1/3 of their AP added onto your AP. So normally if the mid laner gets fed, you can just insta-burst them and then use their power against them. And in the case the AD carry is the one who gets fed, you can just have their Ghoul auto-attack, because the Ghoul will do as much damage as they do. So right there, Lux ulted the wave. Luckily we cleared out in time. Since that one ward was about to die, I decided to replace it. And I went a little bit more aggressive, even if it's only like 2 feet over. That's still a crossway, so we can see a little bit more about who's coming and going, which is what's so important. And sadly, I arrived too late here to save Rengar, but I can avenge him. Sadly, that will cost me my life. I tried to use Creeping Death on him to give him a surge of defensive stats, adding some of my DPS onto him just to help him win that fight with Vi. And the thing is, had I moved a little bit sooner to try to help him, the two of us probably would have lived. But don't worry, we'll make up for it later. So Thresh went ahead and died. He does not have a good time in this game. It does get worse for him, that's all I'm going to say. So my next item is going to be the Death Cap. Since the Amplifying Tome is a component of that as of the AP rework, I can go ahead and grab that for a little bit of a boost. Now, the drawback is, since it's the cheapest item there, that means I have to have a lot of gold in my pocket to actually finish it. But depending on how the fights actually go, that may not be a bad thing. Like, if we can have some success, win a few fights, if I can pick up a kill or two in the fights, the cost will just be totally negligible. It's just if we don't have those fights, that's when we'll start to have some trouble. And sadly, I don't make it in time for the cannon. Sucks, I know. But the good news is I can pick up the rest of the minions there, and you'll see that I'm slowly making my way to the Death Cap. Now right here, I can't get the exact timer on their blue, but we can get a rough estimate. This does mean we could try to steal it later, even though I don't think we actually bother. So right there I'm typing in TB for those that aren't familiar with the old way of how we used to time our buffs before that was done for us. You type in TB or TR for their blue, their red, OR, OB for our blue, our red. And sadly right there, Rengar did ult. I dropped my Creeping Death onto Zed because I was wondering he might flash, use his Living Shadow, stuff like that. And I wanted the assist. But in the end, I just go ahead and steal the Kate kill from Rengar. Makes him a little bit upset, yes, but the reason why I wanted Kate is because, like I was saying earlier, that's a complete copy of her. It does everything she can do. Like right there, it killed Vi for us, and that's 650 range, that's doing a little bit of damage to the turret for us. It also tanked it a bit for us, so there was that too. And right here, I was dead, to be honest, because there was really no way out for me. Even if I did not Zhonya's, the bleed from the hemorrhage would have actually killed me. Like right there, I wanted to try to get that up before the Lux ult, but it honestly wouldn't have mattered. So my sarcasm knows no bounds. The good news is Rengar's a good sport in all of it. Later on he says even though he's not really doing that good, he's having fun with it, so all in all that works. We can have some lighthearted moments and everything. And the game is about halfway done now, so I'm gonna miss Mord so much. Anyway, there's really nothing we can do to contest this dragon. I was looking for any potential wards to where I can teleport in. You can hear it die, we get the timer, and like we don't know what they're going to do afterwards. I dropped this here in case they are planning to dive Rengar, that way the two of us could just double team them. And right here, this is what I meant by we're helping Morgana out with the wards, so it's less work for her, and she really slacks off. So right there you can see Kate's build. She has the IE, she's working on her static shiv. She didn't have like a marvelous laning phase, but like her ghoul is still worth something. Especially if you're trying to push a tower. As for right here, I can't actually push any further than this because we have no eyes on any of them. It's no stretch of the imagination to think that they're all coming top to try to get me, because Mord eventually reaches the point where he can go 1v2 with ease. So, in order to offset this, you have to send more and more guys. And there are other games on the channel where you'll see me go 1v3 and win, and even do a number on the team in 1v4. So, going back to his rework for a moment, like, the reason, Riot said the reason why they wanted to make him AD is because he's carrying a mace and he's in a suit of armor. But the thing is, from the way his story is depicted, he's supposed to be something like a, I don't know if it's like a wraith or what, but the suit of armor is supposed to be hollow. Like, there's no one inside of it. He himself is some sort of essence inside of the suit. So, when you look at it that way, I can definitely see the AP being somewhat justified. Like, he's an ethereal being. Even if he has the corporeal armor, that's still not really enough. And as for the mace, there are tons and tons of RPGs where the magic users will use something like that, especially like the clerics, for example. Just to think of one offhand, the Dark Souls series, I'm pretty sure the mace is even the starting weapon of the clerics. Yeah, I honestly don't know what Riot thinks the majority of the time. Anyway, I don't have enough gold here for the death cap just yet. But I have the distortion boots, so I can, worst come to worst, I can just go clear the wave top that you see building there. Recall, buy it, and then teleport into a team fight that's brewing, so there's always that option. Generally on top laners, I really like to go distortion just so I have my summoner spells up more often, because when I go top, I'm either packing flash teleport or ghost teleport. Ghost in the case of Singed when Jarvan isn't present on the map. And the distortion is just really nice for messing with the enemy. Since so few people actually buy those, your average jungler doesn't take that into account when timing your summoner spells. So when they come back for a last-minute gank thinking, okay, I probably have like 30 seconds, maybe 45 before summoner spells are back up, no, that's not quite how that works. So you can evade a gank once more, and if you can burn some spells, either summoners or ults, that will help your team elsewhere just by denying them those spells to use in a combat situation. Poor Thresh. Poor Darius. So right here I used the Creeping Death. Don't remember if that was on... Okay, it was on Zed. The reason for that is I wanted to, for one, deal some damage to help secure the kill. I wanted the assist, and worst come to worst, the magnetism would allow me to get in there more quickly so I could actually use the rest of my abilities if we needed to. And right here I'm going to use the teleport to take the inhibitor tower. So I'm teleporting to the one that the tower is focusing, because when you're porting to it, it's actually invulnerable. Nothing can kill it. The tower will actually just keep its laser focused on there, and my team has the green light to just go ham on the tower. So as a result, we can go ahead and take the tower, we can take the inhibitor. You can see I took quite a bit of damage there, but with the WOTA, my various spells, the Children of the Grave, I'm fine. Even after all that, I'm ready for another round. And at this point, Vi is the one that I'm actually going to be targeting primarily, because she has that annoying point-and-click ult, and she's the one who actually has most of the kills. While she actually is not responsible for the damage there, I'll explain that in a second, she's still getting them, so she's actually worth money. As we just kill Lux more and more, there's nothing to her. Darius has yet to get his first kill, Lux only has one or two. They're not really worth much, so you gotta go where the money is. Now, if you're wondering what I was pointing to on the item menu, I was trying to point out Vi does not have a damn bit of MR. So with my runes, masteries, and just my sorcerer shoes, I'm hitting her for true damage. It's really that bad. And while she has the Randuin's Omen, that gives her a bunch of health, yes, some of my stuff does percent HP damage, so, like, the health is worthless. And to make things worse, here's round 2. So I can force her out just by dropping my ult because she doesn't have anything to block it. She has no Merc Treads, no Hex Drinker, no Cowl, nothing. And I can definitely feel for Kate right there, complaining about the pathing. That causes so many problems in various games. As for right here, I was hoping that we could charge the dragon. Like right here, I run past Darius because I can kill Vi. Sadly, like, we couldn't quite get it. I don't know if Rengar didn't have smite or what. I couldn't open the menu in the time to check. And right here is when Darius gets all of the, well, he gets 75% of the kills he gets this game. So, normally I'd say that puts him back into the game, but he's actually having such a rough time that's not even close. And you'll notice he actually has MR, Spirit Visage, and Merc Tread, so my spells, they have limits against him until I get into Void Staff. And if you notice, that's what I'm getting next, that's why I have the Blasting Wand. The thing is, they increased the price of it, I believe, with the AP rework, so it's no longer like 23, it's something like 25. Kind of annoying. And as for right here, Zed goes too deep. He will kill Thresh, but it's going to cost him his life.
So be it.
An ally has been slain.
Thought he got Thresh, but apparently not. So I'm not going to spoil who has more kills at the end, if it's me or Zed. Right here, Morg is in a bit of a bad spot. I don't know if her Frost Queen was up or not, because she could have just launched that over her shoulder and left. But in the meantime, we have a fight. Severe has to flash out, Rengar goes ham. And right here, I drop Creeping Death for damage to give him defensive stats. As a result, I can go ahead and kill Vi. Right here, I body block the Caitlyn ult because I'm a team player. I'm a hero, after all. So right there we get to deny Caitlyn her ult, she doesn't get to kill off Rengar, and Rengar is free to just go in the jungle and get some CS. Definitely a win in our favor, because we just traded our support, who isn't even warding, for the jungler who's getting all of the kills. And I don't remember if this is the third or the fourth time I've ulted Vi. She still hasn't gotten the picture yet. Buy some damn MR. And it will be worse once I get the Void Staff. It'd be even worse if I could have gone Abyssal, but it just wasn't meant to be this game. So right here I'm a little bit short on the Void Staff. I dropped the ward over the wall in the Baron Pit because they are going to try to sneak a Baron eventually. It's going to go horribly, horribly wrong, but they're going to try it still. As for right here, Zed goes way too deep. Severe ult comes in, it helps me get in here because Ward does have just those immobility problems. And remember how I said I ulted by 3 or 4 times now? I didn't ult her there. That sucks, I could have used her ghoul a bit. Would have been fun. Damn, my heart's broken now. Now, as for right here, I'm not quite sure why Kate is so much faster than Morg. Like, right here I was moving in to offer some support, but once Darius arrived, I had to back down. The main problem here is just, with all of his MR without my Void Staff, I can't really hurt him, so he can just sit there and wail on me while I try to kill his teammates. And basically my only chance of winning that fight is if I turn Kate into a ghoul and then use her ghost to kill Darius. And right there you can see how little damage I actually do to him because of all of his MR. I'm pretty sure we still killed him, it's just, it took a lot longer than it should have. And it actually took long enough to where I didn't get the ghoul. Not really a loss though, because his ghoul is just good for tanking pretty much. She doesn't have any offensive power or AP for me to use, so yeah. Anyway, we have a nice big wave here that I can clear. I can use Creeping Death and the Siphon to just clear these. And now I do have enough for my Void Staff. Thing is, any extra gold I get here can either be turned into a Sorcery Elixir, it can be... actually, that's kind of it. It'd have to be a Sorcery Elixir or just the next item that I want. And I opt to hold on to the potions, even though in retrospect I probably should have gone for the Elixir. It's one of those hindsight things, though. So, we're missing the fight with Zed. I honestly don't know why, or not Zed, it was Morg. Why Severe is where she is. Like, she does get Kate, but there's no way out for her. She's surrounded. And you can see she goes down just like that. So right here I'm using the magnetism to keep up with Rengar, and... well, it sucks to be Thresh. Can't really stress that enough. So while that was just a support kill, that allows us to go 3 for 3 in the end. We traded our support too, and we can go mess with Vi here. So once again, Creeping Death for magnetism. She's bullet. One ult later, and she's gone. And now we have no reason to fight Darius right here because it was pretty obvious he was trying to lure us into something. And right there I tried to kill him, I burned my flash, but no luck. So I have to take this red buff as a consolation prize. It alone can dry my tears. So the good news is the Vi Ghoul is pretty fed. It has a Trinity. Bad news is I can't actually use it for the dragon. But once again, we're in the same situation I was in earlier. I can tank this fairly well because of the WOTA. With all my AP, I can just heal an Iron Man through pretty much everything. It's just... I have the blue buff for CDR. I just need someone else to help me supplement the damage. You can see that the dragon can't even hurt me. If not for the blue buff, I definitely would have taken some damage there. And it's just Severe made this a lot easier, and since we could take it more quickly, there's less risk of it being stolen. And we didn't need Rengar there just because we killed Vi. She was my ghoul, so that meant she couldn't steal.
So be it. Summoner.
So right there I got the needlessly large rod. I had two options here. I can either go into the Ludens for more pushing, more mobility, or I can go into the Rylai's for more HP, more durability, and therefore just more utility for the team, because I can slow whoever I'm targeting, and, well, then the rest of the team can pile on. As for right here, this is one of those moments where you can definitely see Morg isn't quite doing her job, but it doesn't really matter.
You need to click once, fool.
An enemy has been slain.
And if you notice, Vi finally has a null magic mantle. Severe has her ult up here, and if she were smart, she would have used that. Instead, she's going to use all of her summoners, then her ult, to secure this kill. So right there, they're pinging the inhibitor. Right now, the enemy is trying to get the Baron. Now, we could have went up there and tried to pincer them from behind, but it probably is just better to go grab the inhib. With the second dragon, we can definitely take this more quickly. In a second, you'll see Kate die, because since we don't see them, there's only one spot where they are, the Baron pit. So we had the option to just go in there, collapse, possibly steal the Baron from them, and take their lives in the process, but we settled for two inhibitors. So right there, I just cleared the one way so that the super minions can get in more easily. I didn't make it in time to actually damage the inhibitor, but I was there for moral support. Now right here I gave Creeping Death to, I believe, Severe, so that she just got some more defensive stats. As for Morg, she's completely screwed. There's nothing we can do to save her. So right here you'll notice the blue buff is up. I can go take that for the CDR. That's pretty much all that Mordekaiser gets out of it. Thing is, Vi is going to show up and see. With as much AP as I have right now, I definitely pack a punch, and she still doesn't really have an MR item beyond her Null Magic Mantle, but it's something. Something extremely small, but it's something.
Desolation is coming.
And right here I'm thinking, can I kill the Golem Camp and then just go back for my Rylai's? Or do I have to kill something else? And basically this all culminates in a fight. So you can see I don't quite have enough. I'd have to come over here anyway. It's just I come over here to ruin their day in the process. So a little bit of poke on Thresh. You notice he has mobility boots. By landing that, like, he's not getting out of here. He has to fight to the death. It's that simple. Now, Zed does get both kills, but I get the Darius school. And the important thing about that is, like I was saying earlier, he doesn't do damage, but he's a tank. And someone has to tank this Baron, because we don't have a true tank of our own. We have 2 assassins, 1 AP caster, and myself, an AD carry, and a support. And just like that, the Baron goes down. So here comes the end of the game in less than 2 minutes. Right here I drop the Warden in the hopes that we can maybe catch someone over there. It doesn't actually happen. Severe steps in a trap and loses half her health in the process. As for Kate, I managed to just rip a piece out of her since she got way too close for her own good. Can't really do much to save Rengar, but like, Vi has a Hex Drinker now, and that's not enough at 40 minutes. She needs a bigger MR item already. And since she doesn't have that, it costs her her life. Now, I do have to watch out for Darius here, and I don't know why he didn't go for me since I don't have Zonias. But I go ahead and just do what Mord does best. Steal a crapload of health, steal 2 kills, and I help myself to the top turret while Zed takes the Nexus turrets. And the entire reason why I wanted this was just to pad my stats. You can see once that's down, I don't give a damn about the inhibitor. We can just go get the Nexus now that we got the 11th turret. So that's Mordekaiser in the top lane for you guys. The last game of him on... I don't even know what the patch is, but it's the last patch where he's an AP character. So, Mord, you will be missed. I'll look back fondly on the days of 6v4. And I went ahead and got the after-game screen here so you can see what the various numbers. Sadly, you can see I'm almost down my 2000th game. Normally I try to hide that, but this time, oh well. So anyway, Mordekaiser, I'm the hero of light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.